Hello and welcome back to this custom theme development WordPress series. In this tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating how to develop and activate a new WordPress custom theme. So we're going to identify and create some custom theme files and then explore the theme navigation dynamics. I'll give you an overview of how the pages are connected together, or a general kind of workflow, navigation flow throughout WordPress. And then I'll go through the basics of importing part files into other pages or other theme pages. So I already have WordPress ready to go. It's a fresh installation. If you need to install WordPress and you're not too sure, just check out the first tutorial in this series. I go through how to install XAMPP and WordPress. So inside of my dashboard, I've navigated to Appearance and Themes, and you can see that there's already 3 themes available when you install WordPress by default. So let's go ahead and find those. It's going to be on my C drive, XAMPP, my server, htdocs, this is where WordPress is installed, content, and then themes. So you can see here we've got these 3 themes. So I've gone ahead and created a new folder for our new theme called Very Academy Theme Dev, and inside of here I've got 2 important files, style and screenshot. So to build a theme, these are the 2 files that we're going to need to begin with. This screenshot is a 1200 by 900 in terms of dimensions PNG file. Now you're going to need you don't need, but it'd be useful to have some sort of image. This is what this image is where it's going to be placed. You can see that there's 3 images here for each theme. So if you want to, you can just go ahead and copy and paste a screenshot in another theme and then just open it up in Paint and change the color. So these are the 2 files we're going to need. So now we've got that. If I just press refresh, you can see here that it picks up, or WordPress is identifying that we've got a new theme, but it says here template is missing. So we're going to need to have certain files in here to get this template or this theme working. So let's go into our code editor, open up our project. So I'm just going to open up the theme folder. So htdocs, content, theme. So it's identified that we're going to need an index page, so index dot. So WordPress uses PHP, so we need the PHP file extension. So if I now go back into the theme area and refresh, you can now see that your theme is available for selection. And now if I just select activate, I can activate the theme. So that's how to build a simple theme and activate the theme. Of course, there's nothing in this theme, so as you might imagine, this is what it's going to look like. It's completely blank. So first of all, you'll notice that we've got theme details. So if I click on here, theme details, we've got some information about the theme. What you might want to do is go ahead and add some theme details. So if I go into the style page, and I've pre-written some code here. So the theme name is, in my case, Very Academy. And then the author, a description, a new theme, and then version. So there's plenty more other options that you can add here, for example, tags. So once you've added some text here, then go back and refresh the page. And if we go to theme details now, you can see that it's picked up some of this new information. Okay, so that just adds a little bit of metadata about your theme if needed. So we've already identified that we need an index page, and this generally is the landing page to your website. So if we were to go over to the home page, click on refresh, and we can see that this is now serving the index page. So if I were just to type in here index and refresh the page, you can see it says index to identify that that page is being loaded here. So that's our home page at the moment. So going back to the example here, generally we have an index page. We might have some posts on this page, and we might click on those posts, and that's going to take us to a page typically called single.php. So single.php page is basically going to be the page for single posts. So that's where you end up with. But of course, you might get to this page, to that post, via category, because it might be that you have a category system. So for example, on the index page, you click on PHP because you're interested in PHP. That takes you to the category page PHP, where you can select the individual posts, and then that takes you to then the single post when you click on an individual post item on the category page. So that is the triad here, or the general flow of what we're going to develop in this theme. So let's go ahead and create these new pages. So we're going to need a file called single.php, and then also category.php. So one thing that we're going to definitely need is, for example, if someone tries to navigate to a page that doesn't exist, that should take us to a 404 page. Now at the moment you'll notice that that doesn't happen. We're just taken back to the index page. So if we now go ahead and create a new page called 404.php, and just going to write 404 page so we can identify when we're on this page, and then I just refresh and then navigate to a page that doesn't exist, and there we go. So that's our 404 page developed. Okay, so what we can also do is if I create a new page here called front-page.php, and then just type in front page right there, and refresh my page. So if I go back here to my home page, it now says front page. So if you head over to the developer area of WordPress, it gives you an overview of all the different pages that you can build, all the common WordPress template files that you can develop. And there is a hierarchical structure here. So you can see that we built this front page.php. So that's always going to be the site front page if it exists. If not, then it's always going to default back to the index page. Now you can also see here that we've got a page that we can develop called home.php. And it says this home page template is the front page by default. So let's just go back into our code editor and create a new page called home.php. I call it home. But you can see here that front page is the first page. Now if I just delete front page, hopefully what happens now is it utilizes the home. And of course if the home page doesn't exist, then it's going to use the index page. So it really is up to you what page you utilize for the front page. So using PHP, we can follow the dry principles, so don't repeat yourself. So we can make smaller files, in this case, header and footer, and then we can incorporate them onto other pages. So for example here, the index. So what we're going to do in this template is create a header and a footer, and then import those files onto other pages where we need them. Of course, we only need to build one header and footer potentially, so there's no need to repeating that code on individual pages. We can just import them or include them onto the pages where we need them. So eventually what happens, they get put together, and that's what then gets produced and sent back to your browser. So let's develop a header and footer page. So we're going to need a header.php and a footer. So let's just see that in action. So in the header, I'm just going to type the word header and then, excuse me, the footer, the word footer. So back in our index page, what we want to do here is try and incorporate the header and the footer. So let's see this in action. So what I need to do is utilize a WordPress function. So we're going to be writing some PHP, so they need to be within these PHP delimiters. And we need get, in this case, header. So that's going to basically collect, find the header page and put all the content right there. This is obviously the index page, so we've still got index. And then we're going to need to collect the footer. So get footer, use that function. So these are basically going to be served from WordPress, or WordPress is going to have a function that's going to determine what to do here and here. It's basically it's going to find the header and footer page and put the content here and here. So let's just see that in action. Remember that in header and footer we've got the word header and footer. So going back to our web page, you can see here that when we refresh our home page, it now says header, index, footer. So for those who are not familiar with code, where this is heading to, so for example, if we now just construct our HTML page, or sorry, the rest of the page. So I'm just going to go to the documentation of Bootstrap and copy this starter template. So if I go back to my index, so whereas before, like I was suggesting, we've got all these files here. So instead of typing, for example, this out on every single page, if we just remove this and put this in the header section, this is the top of the HTML boilerplate, and then we go to the footer, which is just, at the moment it's just going to be those two things, and the JavaScript. And then I'm going to put that in the footer. So the JavaScript and body and HTML tag. So individually, they don't do much, but what's happening here is obviously this piece of code, and this is all being stitched together. And then that's going to be then sent to your browser and outputting onto your page. So let's just see that in action. And there we go. So if I view the page source, you can see that all that code is now being constructed and put together. So going back to the developer page, you can see again the common template files. Other pages that we're going to develop is we're going to build some comments. So we're going to need a comments.php page. So we'll just add that into our theme. And that was comments.php. And then we're going to need also a page.php. So we'll just include that in. And then I think finally the search.php. So we're going to build a search facility. We're going to need that search page to display the search results. So that finalizes for now our template and all the files that are needed. We can see that we've implemented the theme and we've applied the theme. And we've gone through the basic principles of dry and importing the header and the footer. Obviously what we can do is utilize that header and footer on all the pages to save us having to repeat any code throughout our template. So just to recap what we've just done. So our aim was to develop and activate a new WordPress custom theme. So we've done that, although very basic at this point, but we've identified and created the custom theme files. By all means, go ahead and read and include some of the other theme files that you can see on the developer page. We've explored the theme dynamics in terms of looking at how the flow of the system is going to work. So we're going to have an index page for the home page, and then we're going to have a single page which is going to show the individual post pages. But we can access that through maybe a category page, which includes different categories of posts that we might want to create. So, and then we explored the dry principles. So we had a look at how these pages are going to be connected together using these part files, header and footer. And that saves us having to that saves us, having to rewrite the same code on other pages. So we can just reuse existing code. And if you want to, by all means, go ahead and have a look at the further reading, which was the developer information about the template files. And then if you want to read a little bit about Dry and the KISS principles, don't repeat yourself. These software design principles. So I've left you a link here, and you can go ahead and read that. So hopefully I'll see you in the next tutorial, where we'll further develop our theme.